completely offside.
All right, we are here. It is the day before Thanksgiving, and I'm going to answer these questions as much as I can or as best as I can. And let me just go over a couple. We might have to do this in two parts, but if you notice, Robert's not here. Please, Robert. All right, so first question, and I'm just selecting certain ones. Other ones I'm not going to answer, so I'll just email you that back. What's the best way to end the fight with a Muay Thai fighter? Do I have to answer that? All right.
So I have to pull out my Tony Jaa.
Oh my God. Okay. This is not difficult. The main thing to remember. You don't have to do it. The main thing to remember when you're dealing with a Muay Thai fighter is what? One, whether it's Muay Thai fighter, grappler, boxer, ninja, samurai, whatever, is you're not sparring. That's the number one thing I want you to remember. That's why do not practice or train to spar. You're going the wrong route. So sparring is we're here, and the next thing you know, I'm going here, and I'm going to punch, and then we're going back. If you train that way, and if you're thinking to apply Wing Chun that way, I can almost guarantee you 100%. 100% is pretty guaranteed. 100% you will lose. That is not the intention of how Wing Chun was meant to function. Okay? The main idea behind Wing Chun is whether he's grappler, boxer, Muay Thai fighter, or ninja. He moves in, I move in too. When we deal with the gap being closed at that point, that's when I deal with the force. All right? Once you end up doing play touch like this, point sparring or trying to hit back and forth and shuffle in and out, you will lose. That is not the function of Wing Chun. You're using it the wrong way. And before anyone sends me an email, well, I've gotten it to work. I don't care. Because that's not what this will be probably my most dislike video. No, but seriously, it is not. We are not developing to spar. All right, if you want to develop to spar, then fine, spar. But I can tell you, someone who practices kickboxing and does the sparring will have a better chance against the Wing Chun guy. Because you're applying it the wrong tool for the wrong situation. Okay? When it comes with the kicker or it comes with the grappler, I close the gap. When the gap is closed, I neutralize that force. Okay? I'm not trying to evade anything from that situation. All right? Close the gap, deal with the force, and then you can apply your Wing Chun. But if you're going in and out, back and forth, you got it all wrong. Okay? Next one. How can we explain how can we explain to a person Wing Chun that's interested? What is that? Oh wait. How can we explain to a person who does Wing Chun is interested but still hasn't understood how it works? To me, I don't have to sell Wing Chun. If he's not interested, I don't sell it. I don't care. Seriously. It's called value of time. Okay, time's limited. I'm not here to prove to you that Wing Chun is better. To me, Wing Chun is the best. If you don't believe it, I don't care. You want to believe in fairies? Fine, believe in fairies. I won't argue with you on that point, all right? So to me, Wing Chun is the most direct way to do the job, all right? And if you understand what the job of Wing Chun is, then you understand, all right? With all the schools going around, which do you think is the most common lineage being taught? I think... And why do you believe that? I think the most common lineage, I could be wrong with this, is probably Lung Ting Line. He's probably the most well-known, best marketed. So that's all I know about that. But, you know, to me, don't be so concerned about the lineage. Just look at the truth as far as how things move, what's truthful in Wing Chun, and you can see it right away. Name doesn't matter, style doesn't matter, years doesn't matter, okay? Okay, let's get something technical here. These are all simple right now. Okay, here we go. This is a question on bong sao. Don't know how to, okay, bong sao. Let's go over some details with bong sao. Now we can get into some technical aspects of bong sao. All right, regarding bong sao, the first thing you have to know is understand is how to shoot out the bong sao. Okay, and how bong sao actually applies. A lot of times when we're doing bong sao, what happens? For example, Bong sao, let's say I punch towards him, and then you see someone shoot out the bong, right? He shoots out the bong like this, boom, like he'll deflect it up, okay? Basic concept of Wing Chun is everything works in the beginning on the basis of touch and drill, okay? I touch and drill. In other words, if you, let's say I ask a question, okay? I'm gonna ask him a question and Danny bong saws, okay? Just to understand this concept. I ask him a question, I'm about to shoot out the punch and he does bong. So he says, I'm about to open my mouth, he does bong.
Right.
So he already answered me before I even answered my question. So if that's the case, I'll still go through that. Okay? What's he supposed to do? He has to be at the point where he listens to the force first and then can counter it. But if he's thinking, oh, he's punching this way, I'm going to do bong, you're planning the technique out. Planning the technique out won't work. The best example I've ever heard is if you have a drill bit, right? If I have a drill bit, what happens? I don't start here's the wall, here's the drill bit. I don't go zzz, and then try to hit the wall. Because there's no way while this is spinning, this will go into the wall. I have to touch first and zzz, then drill into the wall. So same thing here. He has nothing. He gives me nothing but his guard. His guard is in this situation here. So when I punch him, that's when he goes into bong and can drill it forward. See how it drills naturally from that point. He's not shooting the bong sao himself. When he holds it, and he doesn't go up and does the bong sao himself. He's in this position, and then from this motion, think of it this way, if he sets his bong sao properly in place, in other words, imagine this as a knife. If he puts the knife in the right place, boom, I end up touching this knife, and I make him go into the bong sao because he held the knife properly. Okay, he didn't go, yeah, for this particular punch, I feel like doing a bong, so I will do bong. He does not care whether he does a bong, tan, pak, lap, or whatever. He shouldn't. Because otherwise, in that sense, you're planning to do a technique. Once you start planning to do a technique, you're toast. Because you have a predetermined, preset manner of how to deal with it. I want to be like water, man.
Hey, come on. It's low.
All right, I want to give him nothing to counter. So right now he just holds it here, and then from there he can counter from that point. Okay. Another thing when you look at bong sao is, a lot of times you see someone punch, and then where you do this one, where you punch towards me, and then you collapse the bong sao like this. Okay.
I've seen that one.
All right. Let's understand something here. Okay, I want to make a point clear on how this functions. When you see that, going with the force is a simple concept. In other words, I'm here. See, if I go with him, he can redirect my force. See, I'm pushing him a certain way. Just go with it, change the route, right? No matter which way I'm going with it, go, yeah, see? He can go with the force. So in theory, it looks like if I punch him this way, you do the bong sao and collapse it. And he can turn. He goes like this. In theory, it looks like, yeah, he can do that. He can move the bong sao out of place and let it bypass him. Just think. Let's use a little common sense here. If I shoot out a bong, okay, what's faster for him to move? If he's occupying this center space, let's say I'm occupying this center space like this, is it easier for me to get out of the space? In other words, move my entire body out of point, as opposed to my hand. Which is faster, my hand moving or my body moving out of that space? Okay, because that's what you're basically saying. At this point here, when I punch him here down the line, he's going to move out of the line and be able to move that. Okay, so in other words, if I punch him like this, don't even block. Try to move your body out of the way. Out of the way. Out of the way. See, I'm not even going that fast. There's no way his body can move faster than my hand.
I was dodging pretty fast too.
Yeah, he wasn't dodging that fast, but I wasn't punching that fast. I was still hitting. All right. So what does that mean? So the reason you can get away with that, let's say here, he can get away. See how he can get away with this and redirect the force, is because if the person shooting has no concept of aiming at the target, he can redirect that force. Okay, watch. He's here. See how he takes me offline? Easy, right? See? He takes me offline. But now look, I know I'm aiming at his center. And he's moving away. Why is he moving away?
Because if not, I'll collapse.
No, don't move away. Stay in that point. See, you can redirect the force this way. See how I can redirect the force? But now, if I actually aim my target into his center. Redirect, 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 redirect. And look, I'm just using basic muscle pushing him in. But what's the main thing I'm doing? I'm aiming at a target. It's a big difference if you're not aiming at a target. I am aiming at a target. Okay? So if I punch and he goes bong and I end up going like this, yeah, sure, I can do that. But if I go bong, if he does bong and I punch, I aim towards the center and I'm using muscle, you won't be able to do that because there's target point involved with that. All right, so hopefully that explains how the bong saw works. Remember, finally, that's a lot of time on bong saw, but it's okay. The final thing to remember with bong saw is how not to get hurt. A lot of times, do that side, you shoot that bong saw there. A lot of times with this bong saw, people end up raising, look at my punch, when I shoot out my punch. When I shoot out my punch, look at my shoulder. See how it doesn't rise like this? It actually ends up
sinking.
Yeah, I wouldn't say sink. There's actually a connection of how it connects to my body to line everything up. So this concept of how this shoulder actually functions to connect it to my body stays in place. See? It doesn't rise. If I rise, I end up being tired with it. So once you can do this with the punch and do the punch without being tired, that means you know how to control that point. As soon as you understand that with the punch, guess what? Look at my shoulder with the bong. See how I control that point? But otherwise it ends up going like this, and when your shoulder goes up and he pushes into it, that's when you feel like, oh my God, I just practiced lap saw for a while, and then you have a couple minutes and you feel tired. That's the number one way to hurt yourself, number one way to get injured, because you're lifting it up. You're basically lifting up and doing shoulder exercise each time when you're doing bong saw, okay? That's a mega no-no, okay? All right, let's answer one of the number one questions people have been asking. How do you block paksa? Why doesn't paksa work? Okay, you remember that video?
Yep.
So we're here, and then I'm basically tagging. Boom. Why am I tagging Robert? Robert was getting pegged nonstop. And you see all these explanations. Well, Wing Chun fights from the side. Wing Chun controls from the elbow. Blah, blah, blah. Let's understand how this works. Where is this? 1 second. The answer, like all things, is simple. Okay, I know I made you guys wait for it, but you know it's Thanksgiving and I thought I'd tell you exactly how this works. All right, center line. Let's understand this from center line. See, if I draw, the center line is, imagine my center of gravity, my mother line right here. Okay, my mother line to Danny's mother line is right here. So in other words, it's like a tight. Oops, you okay?
Yeah,
it's like a tightrope right here, okay? So if this tightrope exists between the two of us at this stage, guess where our hands are at each time? Our hands are what? The guys on the tightrope balancing in between every single time, right?
Yeah.
So in other words, he's actually covering the center at this stage. If so, that's why when you practice the form, you have to actually know if you're within the center of every motion. You can't go tanzao and you're off center. You actually have to stay within the center. Okay, tanzao here, bong sao, wherever. Okay, so with that concept involved, why was Robert missing it? Because imagine Danny puts his guard up. See, he's on that point. The reason I'm able to get around that point is he's doing everything right. Here's his shield. He's occupying the center line, but yet I was able to boom, peg him every single time. What was he trying to do first? As soon as I started shooting out, what did he do? He's trying to do what? Block my hand. Or the thing is, oh, well, you can't use paksa passively. You have to attack it. No, you don't. You don't have to do anything. You just have to understand what you're doing. Okay? In order for me to get to this, if he's occupying the center line, I had to shift the target off to the side. In other words, I'll exaggerate. If we're here, I had to go here in order to peg him, just enough. But instead, he was trying to do what? As soon as he's trying to reach out and go for my hand. As soon as he tries to go for my hand, he's toast. There's no way, because what? In Wing Chun, I do not care about the attack. I only care to position myself to get the shot off. All right? Whatever he does, I do not care about the attack. So, why did his paksa fail? That's one. He's chasing for the hand. But two, in order for his shield to function, If I'm firing the gun at him, he's blocking it right now, perfectly. Block, 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 block. But what did I do? I actually shifted my body just a little in order for me to shoot. And what did he end up doing? He ended up still staying here with the shield when I went like here. And that's why every single time I was able to get through. Okay? I'm able to get through that. Because what's the thing what's the key thing? If I move this way, how am I going to get through? See? But what was he doing? He's looking at my hand. See, he was caring about my hand. Once he cares about my hand, boom. There's no way he'll block that. Even I tell him I'm going to do this tap. But if he look, what's he looking at? He's looking at my center. I won't take that shot because I know I can't take that shot. Because now what? Because now, with the tight rope where it is, I turn like this. Oh, shoot. Damn it. Damn it. There. And that's it. See? It's not magic. It's just common sense. That's why that Pak Sao, when I said Pak Sao doesn't work, it has nothing to do with Pak Sao not working. Pak Sao definitely works. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. But the way he was applying it was wrong. He wasn't able to, what? The shield only functions if you hold it in front of yourself and aim to the target. If the guy's shooting off to the side, this does me no good. I have to have target with the shield. And therein is your answer for why Pak Sao did not work for that first video.
You want to give an example of how Pak Sao looks without, because the guy is talking about muscling it, right?
No, I'll make you guys wait for that later.
That's good stuff.
All right, let's do one more, because that bong sao was long. As long as question is good. What other drills / exercise other than Chi Sao and Dan Chi Sao can you do with partners to improve your stick and sensitivity? There's actually a lot of drills, but remember, the main drills that you're doing is always sticky hands. Sticky hands is the main drill that you're doing to develop the sensitivity. Eventually, you can close the gap and do sticky hand motions and stuff like that, but sticky hands really is the main drill. Okay? Here's one more question, and then we'll wrap it up, and we'll answer more questions later. If there isn't anyone to train with, what is the best training method to improve oneself? Single man technique. Single man technique. In the last video that I showed you, where I do tan, bong, lap, if you don't do these motions correctly, like imagine you do tan and you shoot it off to the side, there's no way that in a real situation when you're applying it, if you, by yourself, if you shoot out to the side, if I actually punch it, you'll end up shooting the side. Tanzao is what? So if I'm here, Danny's here, but just pull back here, right? He goes punch and he shoots out his hand, shoot out like this, shoot out his hand. See how he shoots out his hand? Yeah. That means if he's practicing it by himself and he's shooting out his hand, guess what? He's gonna do it even worse with a partner. So you gotta do those individual drills by yourself perfectly. So if he's here, notice, I asked him to shift, he just simply shifts. See, his body still just shifts his hands in place. So if he can do that in place, if I punch, boom, now guess what? Now it's the same thing, he can actually do it right. So do not always say, it's a 50-50 balance. Don't always say, I need a partner to be better, I need a partner to be better. You gotta do the stuff that doesn't require a partner really well. Because until that stage happens where it's done well, it's gonna be even worse with a partner. Because your partner doesn't know what he's doing, you don't know what you're doing, and the next thing you know, you're gonna end up muscling with one another. All right?
Does that go back to like the monkey see, monkey do? If you're doing the motion, but the motion's wrong to begin with, it's not gonna apply when you're trying to add the structure to it. Like if they're chasing with the hands, even if they're in the right spot, they chased already. Yeah,
you chase, because you remember, what's the number one thing? I don't concern myself really with the block. Okay, does everyone understand that? When he punches, for example, he punches, I may be going off subject, I'm not thinking, how do I block this? In development, we do worry about that. We have to learn how to block first. I'm thinking exactly, when he punches, how do I position myself so I can shoot? That's how I always think every single time. I don't think, here's a punch, let me block him, and then let me attack. All right, but you have to remember there's stages of development for that to come about. In order for me to see the line to attack, I have to develop that by first learning how to block. So in other words, he punches, oh, here, this is how I block. Once I know how to block, guess what? Now I see the line to attack. So don't bypass it. Don't be something as simple. He punches, oh, boom, I can punch off to the side. You can do that because it's planned. That's because you know. But if you don't develop how to do that based off blocking first, you won't when it's something unexpected. All right? So anything else? Is there anything else you want to add on there? I know we still have more questions to go over, but I know we covered a lot. But
do you even feel the need to talk about the shooting?
Close the gap?
Do you want to talk about that?
The grappling one?
Yeah.
The grappling one, as I said before, when someone closes the gap, I've got a lot of email. Well, why don't I want to sprawl? Because again, what is the mentality I've stressed over and over again? I am not there to spar. I'm not there to grapple. Okay? I don't know why that's so hard to comprehend. My goal is not to win the tournament. All right? So when he shoots in like this, if I'm thinking he shoots in and I go, whoa, grab. Well, what am I doing? Whose game am I playing?
He just reacted to me.
That has nothing to do with what my intent is. When he shoots in, I'm looking at his center. When he shoots in, he invests his motion into me as far as what he wants to do. Now people think, oh, well, he'll just collapse here. No, he has to get through this guard hand first. Whether he goes this way or this way, I'm still adjusting myself every single time. I'm not here and all of a sudden I go, oh shoot. Right? He has to get through this first. This is my web, he has to shoot through this. Every single time, regardless of where he's going, I'm aiming it at him. But once I take my focus, just like how we were dealing with Pak Sao and saying, oh, you got to block this way or that way. Same thing here. He closes the gap, I'm thinking, how do I grab him? No, same thing. That's why Pak Sao fails. That's why Wing Chun would fail if you end up grappling back at him.
So technically that's just like chasing the hands.
It's chasing the hands.
whole body.
Because what am I looking at? I want the target. I want to aim at the target and that's all I care about. Whether he's standing up and down, bouncing up and around or moving in and out, I'm still aimed at the target every single time. If you understand that, then you understand what I'm saying. If not, that's okay. All right, happy Thanksgiving.